Welcome to the BetterU Podcast, where we go in depth and get to listen to stories of hope, strength, and courage straight from some of the leading health, fitness, and wellness experts who help transform lives one person at a time. I am your host, RKaye, and today we are joined by personal trainer, health coach, yoga teacher, and Health Over 40 podcast host, Michele Riechman. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, it's lovely to have you with us in today's show, Michele. So, I've seen a bit of your work and you concentrate a lot on being able to help women over 40. But could you tell our audience how your story began? What was it that maybe pushed you or inspired you to start out your journey helping women over 40?
Yeah, even since I was in high school, I've always had a passion for health and wellness. So that's when I decided I'm actually have my degree in physical therapy. So I went to college for physical therapy. But even during that time, I was working as a personal trainer and just always having this passion for wellness and that prevention side. So before people even get sick, what can we prevent to live better lives? And along the way, I'm a military spouse. I also have 4 kids. But after my 3rd kid, I found it a struggle to take care of myself. It gets so easy to put ourselves on the back burners. Whether you have kids or not, we get wrapped up in work, we get wrapped up in all these other things. And it all seems like a bigger priority than our health, because a lot of times with our health, we don't see that negative outcome right away. We cannot take care of ourselves and still be doing pretty well. But over the years, as we age, things will add up. And then we'll be like, whoa, we have to do something. So after my 3rd kid, I was going up a flight of stairs and I was out of breath. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm way too young for this. Like, what can I do? My kids were really little at that time. It was really hard to find the time. I'm like, okay, if I only have to go up a flight of stairs, that isn't very long. I don't have to work out very long. So I started with really short workouts and kept things really simple. And the same thing with my nutrition. I didn't follow a certain diet, but how can I eat healthier? How can I eat more food, more whole foods, and just slowly incorporate that? So I'm really passionate about helping women really keep things simple, but move forward in their health so that they can live healthier, that they can help the people around them. They can do what God made them to do and really serve other people. Because if we don't have our health, then we can't do the things that we're meant to do.
Exactly. And I do agree with you regarding that, because like sometimes when we wake up in the morning, it's like, what the heck? Why do I feel this way? Like I'm a little too like, am I getting like old that fast? Like, what the heck is that? When it comes to your experiences, was there ever an unforgettable experience that you have always shared with people that you get to work with, like your clients? Are there specific experiences that you yourself have gone through that has been a very good example that you would always try to teach, or that you would always relate with your clients?
Yeah, one thing that comes to my mind is I also like to think of health as holistically. So it's more than just our fitness. It's more than just our nutrition. It's our mind. It's that stress. And I think so often stress and busyness, anxiety, whatever's going on is sort of put on the back burner. But those things affect our health. It affects how our hormones work, our cells, and it's really important. So one time my husband, he was active duty and he got a deployment for 6 months, and we're like, okay, we kept waiting to have our 2nd child. So we're like, okay, we will go ahead and try. And then the military ended up changing the deployment to a year. And all within 48 hours, we got pregnant, which meant that I was going to have the baby in the middle of his year deployment. His brother took his life. And it just all added up. So it was like all of these stressors at once. So it really brought me back to that idea of taking care of myself. That's how I got started with yoga, because doing the deep breathing in yoga, but also strengthening our muscles and working out and stretching. So I use that as a tool, along with reading my Bible, reaching out to friends. I remember I called a friend and she just let me like cry on the phone and like help me talk through it and just really sort of take that next little step forward out of that deep anxiety that I was feeling. So I think it's always important when I work with clients to really look at their health holistically, because if they're having these big stressors in their life, they're not going to be able to focus on their fitness or their nutrition, and really just helping them bring all of that together, because that's what's going to help them move that step forward, and giving ourselves grace. So many people are like so hard on themselves. And we don't have enough compassion and grace and space for ourselves to allow that healing and to take that step forward.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And I agree with you on that. And touching base on you going for help or reaching out to other people, are there, well, I'm sure your husband and your children are a very good inspiration for you, but as a coach and a teacher yourself, you are an inspiration to others. Are there other people who inspire you or are mentors to you that have helped you throughout your journey?
Yeah, so not someone like personally, but I really like Dr. Aviva Ram. She is an MD, she's a midwife and a herbalist, and she really looks at health holistically in a way. So I have like read her book. She even has like a healthy kids course that I took. But I really love how she speaks to women in general and really promotes health, promotes the idea of going back to whole foods and using medicine and conventional medicine when we need it. But what can we do first with the food we're eating, with exercise, with herbs and all these natural things around us? So she has been a great inspiration to me over a pretty long period of time. I've been following her.
Yes. So, well, you did mention like nutrition and what it is that you eat. I've seen a lot of content on your pages, and you do have many tips and tricks regarding nutrition. Is there a very basic type of steps that you could share with us that is easily applicable to anyone?
Yeah, I think the way most people get off track is we're so used to this diet culture, thinking that we have to follow keto, we have to follow something very strict. And I see it from clients too. If they're not following something super strict, they really struggle. But we really have to get away from that mindset and go back to what's healthy. And a lot of us know, for the most part, like 90% what's healthy. We know whole foods. We know we need to do some of that stuff. There's little stuff people need help learning or need more information on. But we need to start small. So what can you do? Maybe just change your breakfast. Maybe just pick a healthy snack, because we try to change everything we're eating. We can't sustain it. We go way too strict. We give up way too many things at once, and it's not sustainable. And then we end up in that same spot, or sometimes we even gain back more weight. So really starting simple and looking at what's one thing I can do this week or for the next few weeks. Maybe I can add on after that. But starting a lot smaller and simpler, like in our mind, that's going to sound better, but it's a really big step when we're used to thinking that we have to do something super strict and we have to give up all these foods in order to see any results.
Yes. Well, actually, that is like one of the things that many people these days tend to look into. Like, you're right. It's sometimes when someone wants to transform or to become better, they always want it to be like instantly done, which can't really happen, right? So how long has it been, or I'm sure you've been in the business for quite some time. Is there a specific moment as a coach, as a teacher, that has been your one true proudest moment so far?
Yeah, I really love most people, by the time they come to me, they're sort of ready to ditch those diets, but they don't know how. They don't know where to start because that's just what they know. So one of my clients who was at that point, we, through coaching and through personal training, we were able to help walk her through those steps of ditching the diets, working with these small habit changes, not having to give up everything completely. And the weight starts to come off, her confidence increased. So I really love helping people like that. And also, as women get older, we have aches and pains. Maybe we have old injuries, and people are sort of scared to exercise. They don't know how to exercise. So I have quite a few clients I'm working with now that we have started them exercising in a way that feels good. That's not very long, 15 to 30 minutes most days of the week. And their pain starts to decrease because they're strengthening those muscles. They're stretching their right muscles. They're getting into routine. They're not overdoing it. They're not pushing themselves. They're exercising correctly and really giving them the freedom to then have the confidence to go on different hikes with their family and do these different things that they weren't doing before because they were in pain and they were having extra weight that made it harder to move and all these different things. So really getting people to that like functional thing, like, hey, I can move better. I can go out with my kids. I can chase after my kids. So I love helping people lose weight, but I love when they get to those more bigger outcomes that affect their life and their life can move in that more positive direction.
Yes, that's absolutely true. That's also one of the things that I love in regard to being a coach, because a lot of times you think like, oh, it's hard to help this person, but when they make that right step towards the goal that they wanted, that's absolutely one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah.
Now, as a final note for everyone, Michele, is there very basic advice or the best piece of advice that you could share with everyone, share with our audience today to make their journey one step forward and one step toward the goals that they want?
Yeah. I mean, a little shout out to myself or any other coaches here. I think the biggest thing is when people start working with someone, that's when they'll see that thing. They'll see that progress forward, because a lot of times we're piecing things together and we don't know these little things that we're missing, or we're not totally understanding the protein or the fiber in our diet, or that strength training might be better than cardio. Cardio might slow down our metabolism. So we're missing these little pieces. We know a lot of information, but usually if you're struggling, if you get a coach or someone to help you, that's going to move you forward. And it's like the same thing in my life. Like, I've worked with a counselor before because that has helped move me forward, and I can't see things that I'm not seeing. So if you're really stuck, working with someone, maybe it can be a short time if you have a tight budget, but really doing that, investing in yourself to help clear up the confusion, because there's so much information out there. There's so much you can pull up, but it's not individualized to you. We all have different genetics, and that's why we can't do a sweeping diet of keto is the best diet for you, because there's genes people have that work better to metabolize fat or carbs. So it is very individualized. So having someone to help piece these missing puzzle pieces together for you can be that next step to actually move forward and have that accountability and someone to encourage you when things are getting hard, or you have an event, or you're going out to dinner and you don't know what to do, when you can actually talk to someone and be like, hey, we're going out here and we're going out to eat. I'm used to eating like a big bowl of pasta and cheesecake after, like, what can I do that still would taste good, but is going to help meet my goals and that I can actually start to enjoy?
Yes, that's absolutely true. I love that last bit of advice for everyone. And yes, with regard to finding someone that can help you, of course, I would love to share with all of you Michele's details. You will all be able to see those in the details that we have in the description box below. I will share all that information with all of you guys. So thank you for joining us today in the BetterU Podcast, Michele. And for everyone else watching, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Coach RKaye, and again, always be reminded, never give up on your movement journey, because it's never too late to move. Bye-bye.